I recently downloaded the FreeCAD version 1.0.0, and it has a new built-in assembly workbench. I find the assembly workbench very non-intuitive, so in this video I'm going to focus on the four most basic tools you need to get the hang of it. Those are Create Assembly, Insert Component, Create Fixed Joint, and Solve Assembly. The first thing you'll notice when you open version 1.0 is that you can go directly to some of the most useful workbenches from the start screen. I want to use the assembly workbench, so let's open that. As a default, the version 1.0 dark mode workspace is black. I didn't like that, so I changed it to gray. In the bottom ribbon here, the tools we're going to focus on are in the assembly toolbar and the joints toolbar. The joints toolbar is grayed out because we have no parts to create joints for. So let's first look at the tools that aren't grayed out. The first one is the Create Assembly tool. I don't actually have to do this because when I opened the assembly workbench, it created the assembly for me. Note that within this new assembly I have a coordinate system and a joint sub-elements. There are currently no joints to that list because there are no bodies to join. As I add bodies to this assembly, they'll show up here. However, this assembly is currently unnamed and unsaved file. I can't add bodies until I save and name the file. I should do that now, but I want you to see what happens if I don't, so let's move on to inserting components. That tool is here, and when I click it, I'm automatically switched from the model panel to the tasks panel, which now has a dialog for inserting a component. Now, if you had been creating parts using Part Design Workbench or similar, those parts would already be open in a tab down here, and both the part file and the associated body would be listed in the dialog here. I made my part files earlier and saved them, so I'll just click the Open File button, and I'll navigate to My Parts. I want both Box 1 and Box 2. It's best to only add one body at a time in the workspace, but I can open all the associated part files now so that I can add my bodies at my convenience. Notice that my bodies are named Simple Box and Small Box. In assemblies, FreeCAD will automatically number identically named bodies, but it can be tough to keep track, so get in the habit of giving your bodies descriptive names. Okay, so I want to add Simple Box first, so I'll double click on the body, not the file, and there's what happens when you don't save the assembly file before adding a body. No big deal, we'll just save it now. I'll call this Example Assembly. And as soon as we've saved the assembly file, you can see it's placed the part and I get a new dialog box. So here it's asking if I want the first part grounded. You need one part in your assembly that doesn't move. That's the grounded part. Then everything else is positioned relative to that first part. When I get done with this video, I'll probably select Always so I never have to see this again. But for now, I'll just say Yes. As soon as I accept that, I see the next critical feature of the assembly workbench, this repositioning handle here. The arrows allow me to move the part along that particular axis, and the balls on the arc allow me to rotate it about the same color axis. But wait a second, this piece is supposed to be grounded. What's the padlock symbol mean if it doesn't stand for locking the piece in place? Well, first of all, it's very important to note that the action of adding and grounding isn't complete until I press OK in the task panel. So let's do that. The repositioning handles are gone, but my part is still in that weird position I left it in. It's not in the grounded position I chose. If I go here to my assembly object in the model panel, I can see the Simple Box assembly, the Simple Box body has been added below the coordinates and joints dropdown. The simple body is also listed here under Box 1, but that's totally separate from the assembly I'm working on. If we expand the joints dropdown, we can see the grounded joint has been added, but it sure doesn't look like the joint is applying any kind of constraint to my box. So here's where that Solve Assembly tool comes in. The grounded joints constraints are there, but they're not being exercised right now. To force the box back to the constraints we added, we just press the Solve Assembly button. And voila, we're back to our grounded position. So now let's add the next part. I'll use the Insert Component tool again. and choose the small box body. The grounding dialog doesn't come up this time because you can only ground one part. Every part is inserted in the same position it was drawn from the Sketcher workbench. You can see that the green outline of the small box in the bottom left-hand corner of the simple box because both of them were drawn with their bottom left corner on the origin in Sketcher workbench. That creates a bit of a problem for me because I don't want the two parts to overlap. But this is an easy fix using the repositioning handles. So let's just complete the part insertion by pressing OK. I lose the repositioning handles, but I can get them back simply by selecting the small box body in the assembly drop-down. Now I'll just slide the box out along the green axis so it's offset a little from the simple box. And this is actually where I'd like my assembly to end up. I want my small box in the bottom left-hand corner of my simple box, offset from the surface some amount. I have that now, but it's not constrained. I can move the small box anywhere I want, and if I hit Solve Assembly, nothing moves because there are no constraints to solve. So I want this situation, but I want it constrained. This seems like a simple operation, but especially if you're coming from CAD package, this is going to be very counterintuitive. Once you understand the FreeCAD method, it's pretty simple. So let's get into it. We're going to start with the final tool, the fixed joint, which is the first tool shown here in the joints toolbar. Now I would argue to you that depending on your preferred workflow, you may never have to touch any of these other tools. And here's why. Let's hover over each tool and see what FreeCAD has called them. There's the fixed joint, the revolute joint, the cylindrical joint, slider, ball, distance, parallel, perpendicular, angle, rack and pinion, screw, and gear belt joint. Now let's be intentional about deselecting our small box so that no features are selected in the workspace, and then select the fixed joint to see what the task panel looks like for that. And the first thing you notice is this drop-down menu, whose item names exactly match those joints I just read off. So I could switch from fixed joint to any of the others from either the icons in the toolbar or from the corresponding item in the drop-down menu. This task panel is going to look identical no matter which of these tool icons I choose. The only difference is which item will be selected in the drop-down menu. Now I'm only interested in the fixed joint in this video, so let's leave it there. Next, note this empty window here. That's where we want to list the two entities we're going to join. I could have selected the two entities before hitting the fixed joint button, but as soon as both are selected, the parts are going to snap to the selected joint, and I want you to note the current positions before that happens. So my small box is currently aligned with the bottom left-hand corner of the simple box, and we have some offset between those two faces. I'm going to define my joint using these faces. So I'll select face 6 of the simple box, and you can see it turns green and is now listed in the window. Now I'll reorient my viewing angle. I've got a clear view of the small box face. I'll hold down the control button and I'll select that face. And as soon as I do, I've told FreeCAD the joint type and the two entities, and that's all it needed to snap the joint together. But look what happened. The faces are touching, but now the small box is centered on the simple box. I want it in the corner with an offset between the faces. The offset is easy enough. I can change this 0 millimeters to something like 10 millimeters. And now we see that that puts that much space between the faces. I can also rotate the joint if I like, but I don't want to, so I'll leave that at 0. But now how do I get this in the corner? Intuition coming from Solidworks tells me I could make a new joint, maybe between this edge, and then another one between this one and that one. That's a bad idea here. This joint is already constraining all three dimensions as well as the possible axes of rotation. So every constraint of the relative x, y, and z positions of these two faces must be defined in this one joint. The z-axis offset and rotation are here, but what about the x and y axes? Those are revealed by checking this Show Advanced Offsets box. I've only found a need to change offset 1, so I'll hover over this set of zeros here and click, which brings up this dialog. Now I can just play with the x and y offsets to see which direction they move the box. There we go. If I set both my offsets to 10 millimeters, my small box will be moved to that corner I've chosen. I don't really care for this method because I have to keep track of multiple body dimensions in order to choose the offsets. That's easy enough for a couple of boxes, but it could get tricky quick. So that's another argument for mastering expressions. This little icon here is our old friend the expressions button. And if I'd had the forethought to name my box dimensions, I could now just say that my x offset equals 1/2 of my simple box width and be sure that it would snap to the correct position. Alas, I did not, so let's forget the expressions this time. I can also set my z-axis offset here, and with that I've placed the box where I want it. I hit apply and then OK. Rotate my assembly for easier viewing. And OK again over here in the task panel. And voila, I've made my first joint. If I click on my small box body, I can still get my repositioning handles and move the body around. This might be useful for manually creating an exploded assembly. But if I want my part to go back to its joint position, I simply click Solve Assembly again. And if I decide I don't like this joint, I can just find it up here in Joints, delete it, and start over. This is surely not a complete tour of the new Assembly Workbench, but it should give you enough information to get over the initial frustration hump and fast forward your next assembly. I hope this was helpful.